everybody. Welcome to Into a Peach. Pat is supposed to be here. She's having a few technical issues, and we're trying to get all that straight. So Timmy's here to kind of, yeah, take up the slack and all that. So
Yeah,
how was your weekend?
blame it on Timmy. That's right. Just blame it on Timmy.
Ah,
I had a, I had a, I had a great weekend.
Good. What'd you do?
Um, just hung out on MeWe and Zoom and played with my cat.
Well,
Oh,
why didn't I see you? Oh, I saw you this morning, didn't I? Ha ha ha
yes, you saw me this morning.
ha.
I'm just looking at a catalog here of what I can spend my money on, but I don't need to do. So, anyway,
Ah.
what's going on with you? How was your weekend?
Um, well, let's see. A hot water heater broke.
Oh, that's.
Uh, I realized that yesterday when I took a cold shower.
I got, I got a question for you. Why do you call it a hot water heater when the water's cold going in and hot coming out?
That's just what they're called because they heat the water.
Call it a hot water heater, so you're assuming the water's hot, or well,
Well,
it
a
don't.
water heater. A
It
hot
don't.
water heater. Okay, I'm Southern. I call it a hot water heater.
Okay. Everybody's called it that.
I think you asked me that earlier today, and I think it went straight over my head. And
Well,
you
it's just
know,
one of those things we all call it. A lot of people call it a hot water heater, and I've called it that too. So I've always wondered, why do we call it a hot water heater when the water's cold going into it?
I, I
But,
don't know. That's just what I've always.
hey,
So,
there's,
so,
there's two Pats here. Is the one Pat working?
well, she said she was going to try to call in,
Oh,
so she's going to be on voice only.
I think I heard something. Pat, is that you?
Hello.
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh my God. I can't believe it got through. It's been telling us it doesn't like us, and we're just about ready to give up.
Uh-oh, that's not good.
So Zoom's being a little picky tonight, is it? Okay.
Yeah, well, it doesn't.
Oh, it's been all kinds of issues, so it's not. I don't think it's just Zoom. I think it's just the internet. I think they're out to get us.
I know.
So how was your
There he
day
is.
today?
How is.
Hi, kitty.
Hi, Timmy. How you doing?
Good, darling.
This is. I'm totally like unprepared. I was going to be all calm and prepared, and now I'm all frantic and nervous.
I
Why?
feel bad. I was all calm until my things didn't want to load, and I'm just like, great.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, see, that's what. Yeah,
There,
that's just professionals.
there you go. Take a deep breath. Take a deep
You know
breath.
what they say? If something's gonna happen, it always does.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely.
I'm just going to sit back here and listen. And if you have any questions that you just can't figure out, just ask me. We're
Well,
trying to.
we were just gonna talk about the impeachment and the sodas
Yeah, so
and not sodas.
we were just talking about why they call hot water heaters, because you got water. Why don't they call them cold water heaters?
The State of the Union,
Anyway,
and we
Well,
were gonna
yeah,
talk.
is that like jumbo shrimp
yeah,
and
yeah, it's kind
yeah,
of an oxymoron type of thing.
right?
Okay.
We were gonna
And
talk about the halftime show also.
Right. Yeah, well, my that's going to be a brief conversation as far as I'm concerned.
About as brief as what they were wearing.
Just pretty much, yeah. It was like, well, where would you like to start?
Let's start with the impeachment, since that technically, well,
Okay.
yeah, we'll start with the impeachment.
I'm happy for the acquittal, and I think Nancy Pelosi's has problems.
Now, did you watch it, or did you just wait until they announced it?
Oh, we had it on the, for I mean,
So you saw the count and everything. All the counts come up when they
well, could you see
call
that?
roll and huh?
What? I'm sorry.
I said, so you heard when they were calling roll and
Right.
specifying.
Well, we were watching that, right? We were
Yeah. Okay, that's what I
looking at
meant.
the computer. All right, never mind.
Yeah, I was watching it and I was just sitting here like, please, 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 please.
Yeah. Yeah. No. Oh, not. I'm sorry. Not the proceedings. We watched the speech, the State of the Union. Sorry. That's
Oh,
what
yeah.
that's what we had on. Sorry. Yeah. No, we didn't watch the impeachment itself. So we just heard the news. I mean,
Yeah, I watched, I had the TV on kind of low most of the day on Wednesday. So, and it was really quiet because the only time you heard anything was when someone actually came up to speak, which could be every 20 minutes or 30 minutes or whatever. And, I kind of worked in between each person that came up there. Um, but yeah, when they did the actual count, yeah, I was literally I stopped, and I was just like, please, please. I was like
yeah.
worried to
Well,
death.
I was listening to actually Joe Pags this afternoon, and he was saying that because they need a super majority. So even if
Yeah.
it was just a little over half, he still would have been okay. They needed 67 or 65 or something like that.
Well, that's the 2/3.
Yeah. So, what were the chances of that really? But, you know, so we're
Well,
over
I mean, it was
that.
close. It was
Yeah.
pretty close.
Yeah, but I mean, and I'm not familiar with where the line actually is. I mean, as long as it was pretty much along party lines,
Yeah.
kind of already knew where the votes were going to fall before they even did it. Really,
I mean, I felt pretty good about it, but it still made me really nervous.
yeah. Oh yeah, anything crazy could happen. You don't know who might have got slipped, have a little palm greased or something just before the vote.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I hate to think it, but yeah, it's
I'm just glad it turned out the way it did. I'm just glad that he was found, you know, innocent of all charges.
yeah.
So that
But
made me happy.
the shenanigans are gonna, as long as they can drag it out, they're gonna. So
Oh, of course.
yeah,
Of course. So you said you did watch the State of the Union.
yeah. Um, for me, I listened. Doug, were you able to keep an eye on it from our vantage point? Yeah,
I didn't watch it while it aired. I actually waited and watched it yesterday afternoon from YouTube. So,
yeah. I was just really, I'm kind of in agreement with the people that I've been hearing talking about it. Is he was very presidential and
oh
you know,
yeah.
very, not his usual theatrics. And that's just how he is. But it was really, I thought it was well delivered, and you know, the 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 Democrats just like refusing to honor anything he did is just childish.
It was watching them sit there
Yeah,
while everybody else is standing up, the
mhm,
vice president's standing up, and yet Pelosi is sitting on her ass, and the little group of I don't know what, but the ones wearing the white outfits,
yeah,
and they're sitting there, and some of them are all like this, and it, to me, whether you agree or disagree with what he says, he is the president, and respect should have been shown.
absolutely. I just can't even imagine what the rest of the world thinks of
Oh God,
us. If anybody's paying attention, you know, we just must look like a joke. Yeah,
no, it was embarrassing. It was. It was very embarrassing. It made me very disappointed. You
yeah,
know, in my opinion, that's part of your job. They in fact, they said AOC didn't even go. That's part of her
right.
job.
Yeah,
She should be required to be there.
Yeah, I can't remember. I saw she had some excuse, but whatever.
Oh, from what I understood, she said she just didn't want to go.
Yeah, but
What were you saying to me?
if it was maybe if it was like a Republican that did it, of course they'd be, looking at censure or whatever they do, you know.
Timmy, did you say something? Oh,
I,
you muted? Okay. Yeah, I don't know if, could you, I guess you saw it, right? I mean,
I
I don't
I'm
know if
not
you were,
I'm not able to see it. But
okay. Pelosi was, she was sitting back there, and then at times she would look over, I guess, towards where all the women were. It felt to me like that was like they were a crew, and she was their leader. So it was like
oh,
they were all making these signals towards each other. She would look over there and she would do these little mouth movements. And then at other times during the speech, she appeared to me when he would say things to be sort of in a way rolling her eyes.
oh, I imagine that's true. I mean, I don't even have to see it to know that that probably was happening.
It's just so inappropriate.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like I said, it's your job. You should be held to better standards. Hey, Sean, how you doing?
Now, are you seeing people in the chat? Is that
Yeah, Sean
okay?
just popped in.
Okay.
Dang it, I did it again.
Oh, you accidentally popped in, huh?
I'm home. Honey, I'm home.
Oh,
Hi.
hey.
Hi, honey.
Oh my goodness. How is
Yeah,
everything?
we're talking about the State of the Union. What's your input?
I'll tell you what, I did not get a chance to watch the whole thing, but the parts that I did see, kind of the highlight reel.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the debacle with Nancy Pelosi.
Sophie?
Yeah. She just needs to go away. The one thing that just continually crosses my mind is, look, people, I don't care which side you're on. This woman isn't third in line to be the president of the United States of America. No, 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 no. This is highly unhealthy for our nation.
I have been saying that for a few days that, if everybody just thought about it, not only if the impeachment went through, but then that put Pence in, that position. What if something happened to Pence?
Right.
We've got a whack job running our country.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even. I really think at this point, oh my goodness, yes, the stores would empty. It would be prepper nation happening.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just unfathomable. Unfathomable. There's
That's
no
very
word.
good. You finally worked that out. Very good.
It's scary. It's nightmarish.
It is. It's
It is very nightmarish.
oh my goodness, what are we doing?
Hey, Rusty.
Oh,
Oops, sorry.
I didn't know you, Rusty. I just did the same thing. She
Could you
just locked the room.
could you spell unfathomable?
I'm still trying to find unfathomable. Fathomable. Damn it. Damn it. I found it.
Oh
today.
Lord. Yeah, I was appalled. I loved the speech. I loved the highlights. Rush getting the medal.
I haven't gotten a
I
chance to listen to what he said about it afterwards. I really need to go back and listen to that
The
because I'm
look on his face.
just kind of humbled, right?
He
Yeah.
literally looked in shock. His eyes were this big, and he was just like, and like he just could not believe. Um, Also, the husband coming back, you know,
Oh,
the wife, the
yes.
children, the little girl
That's
that was
just great.
getting the education grant,
Hmm.
um, the baby that was, what was it, 21 weeks? I think it was
I
21
don't
or
know if I
20.
saw that one actually.
Yeah, it was a baby that is the youngest baby to be born that early. She was, I believe, she was at
Oh,
21 weeks with her when she, I don't know if she went into labor or if it was like an emergency. They had to take the baby, before something happened. I don't know, but she's the youngest to survive at that early pregnancy. It was to me it was very interesting.
yeah, I think that particular item speaks to pro-life
Yes.
because
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah, these people want to go full term and even less. What'd you say, 21 weeks? Is that right?
I think
Yeah,
it was
that's what they
21
said.
weeks.
Yeah.
Right. So we know for a fact that a child, a baby, yes, it is a baby in your stomach, can live, can make it, can survive, can flourish at 21 weeks old. It's possible. Absolutely.
So what is that? Let's see.
What,
So
5 months?
that's 5 months.
Yeah.
5 months pregnant.
Yeah, I mean, and they're able to save babies younger and younger, but they
Mhm.
don't care really because they'll kill them right up until they're, you know, old.
That's what gets me is a baby can be born that early, but yet they will wait till a baby is literally coming out and
Oh,
in the
Yeah,
neck. And,
it's like viability doesn't really matter anymore. They used to argue, well, could it live outside the womb? Doesn't matter.
you shouldn't argue it. Let
No.
God decide that.
Yeah.
Period. You
I
know?
mean, the stupidest one that I've heard is, well, what if it's detrimental to the mother? They can do a C-section. They can take the baby as early as 21 weeks now,
Yeah.
and protect the mother and the baby. There is no reason other than the fact that you spread your legs and let some guy have his way with you and you got pregnant and you don't want it. That's the only.
That's where the freedom to choose comes in. You can choose to keep your legs shut.
Exactly. Thank you.
Today I went to the store with a buddy of mine. Excuse me. To pick up items to make tacos, Pat, just to let you know. And
Would you like to share that? No, never mind.
yes. No. They were just thought I'd kind of break the tension here. And there were Girl Scouts selling in the foyer. Hey, you guys want to buy some cookies?
No.
Nope. And,
I
and my
have not
buddy's
been-
like, yeah, I buy some occasionally. And I go, I said, they support Planned Parenthood? What? Yeah.
Surprise.
Well, I won't be buying that crap anymore.
Exactly. People don't realize it.
No.
No, they
do
don't.
not realize it.
So
No.
good. I converted one person today. Woohoo!
I haven't bought any cookies since I found out that's what they do.
Yeah.
I love those Thin Mints.
They're,
But you know
I
what?
know. I can't. I'll eat the whole thing, right?
Hey, there are cookies just like them, a lot cheaper that don't support abortion.
Doc Thompson talked about travel cookies. I'm talking about travel sleeves of cookies. I'll take
Well-
one to sit on the couch and eat, but I'm going to eat the other sleeve on the way to the couch.
But with the Girl Scout the packages get smaller and the price goes
Okay.
up.
What she said. I mean,
What are they like? Like $7, $8, $10 box?
six, I think. I think I paid $6 the last time I
I
bought it.
don't even know.
Yeah.
Not that I don't want to support a good cause, but they mix their politics with a good thing, and I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's sad. The girls don't know. They don't understand. And I know they suffer from it. They think you're just being a rude, decrepit old man. And I'm like, but no, I'm not going to do it. And I don't care what you think of me. I'm not giving you the money to kill people.
Yeah.
When enough people don't buy and the kids start asking why aren't they buying,
Who are they going to get the answer
Somebody
from?
needs to tell them, huh?
Who's going to tell them the answer?
That's what I'm saying. Somebody
Right.
needs.
They're
only
not going to
gonna
tell
believe
them the
what they're told.
truth.
Right. They're just going to believe what they're told, and they're going to
Right.
be told that from their mothers and from their leaders, and
You
they
know,
wouldn't listen to
think
us.
about it. I think any good, libertarian, conservative parent, and I'm sorry if there's any of y'all out there that put your kids in there, but I would honestly think that your good judgment would tell you not to put your child in there.
Well, there's a lot of ignorance, you know.
Really? No, I agree.
You got to stand up for something, you know?
Yeah. I mean, but once you know, then you are responsible.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's even like as far as, the same as like, whether you receive Jesus or not.
Right.
You're not responsible for what you don't know. But once you know, you do have to make a conscious decision.
You know, that kind of brings up something that I had heard here, I don't know, a few weeks ago, Pat. What I guess in relations to the Jesus thing, that there's people that are like, well, I'm on the fence. Well, guess what? Guess who owns the fence? Satan owns the fence. If you're sitting on the fence, you're still over there because you haven't accepted the truth. So,
That's a good one. I'll have to remember that one.
right. Satan owns the fence. So there you go. Have at it. Good luck.
Yeah. Wow. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah. So if you're on the fence with your Girl Scout cookies, you might as well just buy them. Get fat, whatever.
This kind of leads me into the whole Super Bowl, halftime show. They're all about women's rights.
Yeah.
Then our women, and I'm not saying all of them, but girls look up to the singers and the movie stars and all that kind of stuff. And here they are watching two grown women that probably half of them want to be like someday, watching them half naked up on a stage, shaking their ass, showing their, even though it was covered, it's still the same damn thing. You're I don't know.
Whether they like it or not, they are role models.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They are leading by example.
Yeah.
They're showing what society. That's what society thinks is the norm. The kids when the parents are sitting back on the couch, watching and talking about like what we're doing right now, or whether that's too much, what's the big deal, whatever their take is on it, the kids are sitting on the floor or standing around watching, and they're hearing what their parents are saying. So now not only do you have the example on the television, you get the opinion, the commentation. Is that a word?
Yeah, commentation.
I was going to let it go.
It didn't sound right. Anyway, the commentators behind us, right? And so they have, maybe that would help them ask questions, when there's a discussion going on, and that's fine. But I guess, and I know I'm a guy, but over the last year,
sorry,
I don't know. I see things differently, but it didn't offend me at all. Whatever,
right.
But my wife and I talked about this. We had just hoped that it. Look, you're 50 years old. You look great. You look freaking awesome.
You think it was appropriate? I mean, of course, a man likes to be seen, but was it appropriate for the time?
Right. You don't have to show me all that to make me think that you look great. There was an example on social media. I can't think of her name. She played on the Golden Girls, the whorish one.
Not Betty White.
Oh, I can't remember what.
Right, it was a picture of her from 1985 at 50 years old, and the comparison between her and J-Lo. And I know it was 1985, okay, but wow, J-Lo does not look 50 years old. She doesn't. But look, she's rich. That's her job, is to look good, and obviously her other talents. But I mean, that's part of
trainers and dietitians and
you can afford that.
Exactly.
Yes, your job is to get up and make yourself stay looking presentable for television, and you're in shape for dancing and all that. Not everyone can do that. And it's
Yeah.
okay to not have to look like someone in Hollywood or on stage. It's okay. We should be accepting girls for what they are naturally.
Yes.
It's beautiful.
But the sexual innuendos is what gets to me. Um, I mean, I never had a daughter, I had all sons. But it's the thought, okay, thinking back when I was a kid, when I was in elementary school, I was not allowed to wear makeup. I think in sixth grade, because in sixth grade back then we were in elementary school, I had to sneak a little bit of eyeshadow out because my mom would not let me wear makeup. Um, my nieces, when they were in elementary school, which was in the late 80s, um, when I went to pick them up a couple of times, the girls were dressed, not my nieces, but you saw girls coming out of the school. We're talking 10, 11, 12 years old that had makeup on, their hair all primpy, and had little midriffs and little short skirts and
Yeah, but didn't you? I'll be okay. When mini skirts first became a thing, and you went out of the house with your skirt at knee length, and then you rolled it all up at the waistline. So or you took your makeup out and put your eyeshadow and your eyeliner on in the bathroom before class started.
I'm so glad I didn't have to deal with any of this. I mean, really, if that's the pressure that we put girls under, or actually, it's other girls putting girls under that pressure as well. Man,
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm a guy. I'm glad
when
I'm.
is the last time that you saw a 10, 11, or 12-year-old girl that looked like she was 10, 11, or 12 years old?
You don't.
Yeah.
They all look like they're teenagers or young adults.
Uh,
That is scary.
there is a young lady who is one, maybe 2 years ahead of him in school, but ahead of my 11-year-old. So yeah, I think she's in eighth grade, seventh or eighth grade, regardless. She's the whole makeup, and she's into dance, and she's into acting, and I mean, like
Oh my gosh,
costumes on
making the
stage.
dance costumes these young kids.
Yeah,
are like,
right. I mean, and they're doing performances on stage, so yes, there's
Yeah.
makeup and there's all that, but of course that has transcended to her everyday life, and
Exactly.
her mother pushes it
Yeah.
because it's living through her daughter. And I mean, this is my guess.
Seriously.
It's but um,
Kind of
when
leads
when
into
I
the
see her going
whole.
after my 11-year-old boy, I'm like, you're like, girl, you look 21. He's 11.
Mhm.
Now, granted, he's 5'3", he's as tall as her, tall or whatever. I'm like, no, Willie, she's trouble. Not trouble. She's a good girl, but what's that going to turn into?
The thing to me
I don't
is
know.
these mothers allowing them to dress like this and act like this, and what's going to happen in a few years when they come home pregnant.
Yeah.
Shh, you pray that doesn't happen. Sorry, Pat. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna say. I mean, at younger and younger ages, what's acceptable dress, and not that not to sound like an old fuddy duddy. I was always the if you got it, flaunt it variety of mentality. But when you're of a reasonable age, but like 10-year-olds, asking, "Do I look sexy?" Well, you look pretty, but sexy.
I don't want to hear that
You
word out.
shouldn't even be
I
thinking
know.
about being
I don't want to. I don't want to hear that. I do not. I literally do not want to hear the word sexy in reference to themselves
I
coming
know.
out of a girl who's
Not even
It's
I really
fully
don't-
developed yet.
15. No.
Exactly. It is scary. They shouldn't even be thinking of sex, but yet they're looking at these 16, 17, 18-year-old boys that are way too old for them, and they don't know how old they are because, of course, they look 16, 17, 18 themselves.
And when they dress provocatively, but they're only wearing because it's what's in style, and then they wonder when, guy grabs, uh, you know, if it's out there, it appears to be being offered. Is you know, and I'm not saying don't dress that way, but just be prepared for the result.
Yeah, I mean, there are consequences with everything you do, and that includes the way that you dress and the way that you act. It just, I'm glad that mine are grown up. It does worry me that I have three grandsons and a granddaughter, and what's it going to be like? I mean, my granddaughter's still, she's like two, not talking, not, she's still totally reliant on everybody. But what happens in 10 years when she's 12?
I'm wondering when the pendulum might swing back the other way, because that seems to be the way the culture does go. But I don't know what the interval is. But at some point, things just the culture will flip. I mean, I don't think we'll ever get to the point where we're all walking naked on the street.
I don't know at this
That'd be a
point,
little cold.
honestly.
Yeah, right. But I think at some point culturally there will be a pendulum switch. When the heck?
I hope so, but I don't know. I don't know. It just, yeah, it's a scary thought. It's a really scary thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I can't imagine raising a kid that age now. I wouldn't want that job.
Yeah.
I know, but you are lucky. At least he is a boy.
Okay, can I be very blunt here?
Oh, why not? Go ahead.
I mean, right? I know I have to. All right, so I shouldn't say always. I don't know when the first time it was that I heard this or where I heard this.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard it somewhere, and it's very logical and oh so smart. When you have a boy as opposed to having a girl child, you only have to worry about one dick, not everyone else's.
I know. That's right. I have boys. I don't have girls. And
You don't have to, right. You don't have to worry about all the rest of them.
exactly. You only have to worry about one when you got a girl.
And you better get it right, boy.
My fear was always someone coming up and saying, "Your son got my daughter pregnant." Luckily, that I know of, that has not happened. My oldest actually was married for probably a good year to 2 years before they had a baby. My other two are not interested in even having any kids, and I don't think Dylan wants any either. So, yeah, I don't know. Scary thought.
I don't think I'm going to ever have any grandchildren. I might, but right now, neither. Well, what, my younger son went from I don't want to have any kids to dating a girl with three children of her own. So all of a sudden, he's like the man in their life, and he's doing pretty well actually. From never wanting any kids to all of a sudden he's these young kids.
Maybe he was just saying he didn't want to have any of his own.
Oh, there you go. That's the point.
It's okay if there's somebody else's.
Yep.
I got to tell you, that blended family thing, the Brady Bunch is a lie.
Yeah.
It's not like that. I promise. It's not.
No.
Like
Yeah. Every now and then you might get lucky and it works out, but.
It could be like that if both parents would make it publicly known through all of their children, and if they have a housekeeper, just saying.
They mail
Yes, if they agree, whether or not they agree with each other on an issue, they have each other's backs first before the kids, because that gives them the example to when they grow up. They know how to run a family the right way. Because if you're always putting your kids first, guess what? marriage fails.
Mm-hmm.
You,
Yeah.
It has to be.
family is the marriage.
You have to back each other. There can't be, well, they're my kids, and those are yours. It has to be done as a couple.
Because when them kids are
Otherwise,
gone,
the
right?
kids will you
Oh,
up.
they will. They will.
But there's rivalry even among, birth siblings. You know,
Yeah.
if you have more than, I mean, if you only have two kids, it's not always paradise.
No, it's not.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
But if you look at it this way, there's always, I shouldn't say always, a lot of times there's parents who are like, they put their kids first and they revolve their life, whether it's a
Yeah.
blended family or not, they revolve their lives around their kids, and then when the kids all leave the house, they don't have anything because they focus on their kids. They don't know what it is to be about themselves.
like who
And
are
then the
you?
kids go and get married, and they don't know what it's like to be about their spouse before they have kids. So
Right.
it just screws everything up.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
didn't make it that way.
I do believe that they learn from us as a couple, you know.
Maybe that's why Max is doing so well, because finally he realized we weren't stupid all these years. I don't know.
Don't you just want to hear when your kids grow up and go, okay, guess what? You were right.
To live that long to hear those words.
I know, right? That's
Yeah,
like,
wishful thinking,
Lord,
right?
Lord, keep me alive just to hear those words. That's it. I don't care anything else after that. Just kill me. I'm
Makes it
done.
all worth it.
If only. If
Right.
only we were guaranteed that at the end. Yeah.
Gosh. You gotta hold your breath, right?
Nowadays, all you hear is what you did wrong. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have done this.
So much for personal responsibility.
Yeah, really.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and I kind of take this. It makes me feel better when I think this way. The kids will choose whatever they will, despite your best or worst intentions.
That is very true.
You just have to hold on to that, because you see kids coming out of the most desperate situations come out great, and then these other kids that really should have done well make the worst choices. And at some point it truly is out of the parents' hands.
I have a theory on that as well.
And what is that?
Theory on that would be, if you've grown up and you've never had to struggle, you've never had to watch your parents struggle, you've always had everything easy, you're not going to know how to do life when it's on your own. You've never had any struggles to go through to prepare yourself for when there's no one there to be by your side to help you.
Our kids never saw us struggle, did they?
Oh, by the way, hi, Doug. Hi, Doug.
Doug. I have honestly can say that I have pretty much struggled, being I was in and out of marriages, and a lot of them not very
Were
good.
they yours?
Huh? And,
I said, look, as long as they're your marriages, that's
well, yeah, but I mean,
not bad.
I think I feel that my kids at least saw the good side of me and learned some things from my situations, even though I wish that they hadn't had to learn some of those lessons. But I feel like overall they work. My oldest two they both work. They're always working. My middle one works. Dylan, of course, we all know his situation, and he tries, but
And that makes you proud right there. They try.
Yeah.
They give the effort.
yeah. So, and they're not libtards that I can tell.
Wait, are we online? That's a joke, right?
Oh, so I feel like if I can keep them from doing that, if I can keep them from becoming that type of person, no. Yeah, I think I did.
Anything but that.
Yes, anything but that, please. Don't let me find out later on that it was all a lie.
If I can get my kids to be free-thinking individuals who are personally responsible on whatever they choose to do with their life, I think I should be happy.
Very, very true.
Yeah. That they're happy, that they're comfortable in their own skin, that they find worthwhile work, that they find value in. I mean, those are goals. I mean, it's nice to have tons of money, but you
It's
know,
not important.
Money's not everything.
oh,
No, I will. It's great when you don't have any.
because then you have less to worry about, right?
No, I mean, it's money's great when you miss it. Like when you're out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah, money is a great thing to get, but
I've been at that point with 5 days until payday, and you have nothing.
Yeah.
You literally have nothing, and you got to figure that 5 days out until that paycheck comes.
If
You
you,
know.
you kept going through the couch cushions so you could go out and buy toilet paper,
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
that's something else you could teach your kids.
Exactly.
You know the importance of okay, here's your money for the next week. You got I don't know what's sufficient nowadays, but let's just say okay, kid, here's a $10 bill. Make it last for 5 days. You know, I mean, unless they have to eat on that money, okay, fine. I don't know whatever the going rate is, but short them a little bit. You know, make them stretch that money out. Make them suffer a little bit to use their brains
Oh
to
yeah.
make it work. Because we
See,
all have to do it in life.
I wasn't even able to do the allowance. I mean, it was that tight when I was raising my kids, and it was a hard situation. But I am my oldest. I'm pretty proud of him. I mean, I can't do it, but he actually does the Dave Ramsey thing.
Oh wow, good for him.
Yeah,
Oh yes,
he does all that. They started
that's
doing
tough.
that back when they were in Dubai, and yeah, they literally follow it to a core, and you know, so hopefully they're set up for a good situation. But other than that, it's kind of yeah. I live paycheck to paycheck.
I think a lot of people do these days. I think a
Yeah.
lot of people always have, honestly.
Well, if it wasn't for roommates right now, I'll tell you what. I don't know where I'd be.
Yeah, I get it.
But God sends people your way, right?
Amen.
Mhm.
I'm blessed, no matter what my situation is.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
trying to
I totally feel like I'm blessed. I mean, I have a roof over my head. My bills are paid.
I do for the minute.
I have groceries in the house. So yeah, I don't feel. I mean, like I said, things are tight, which means basically I'm not living like I used to, where literally we were down to nothing after paying the bills and getting groceries. I do have money sitting there, but it's like planned out, to go towards rent or whatever in case something happens and, God forbid, I get sick, my roommate gets sick, one of us gets sick, and the check doesn't come in like it normally does and stuff. So, I'm able to plan a little bit ahead, but I'm not near as broke as I used to be back when the kids were little.
Great.
you know? So,
Good
so
stuff.
why don't you tell us about your show, Pat?
Oh, what show is that?
How many do you have now?
The taco show.
Taco show.
Yeah, you want
I
to
want you to come on and talk about tacos.
um right. Well, started just a little idea when Doc was talking about actually they were desperate for content, I believe, on Mojo, and they were encouraging people to come up with a little podcast, see how you do, send in a demo. And Patrick was saying the same thing. Chef Patrick was saying the same thing because he needed some content on Spoonie. and a little seed. Well, between that little seed being planted and my older son saying, "Ma, you really need to do something. Why don't you have a podcast?" You know, so between both of those things, I started thinking, well, I cooked for 20 years professionally. Maybe I can talk about food. And so we ended up finally, Holly and I started doing the podcast in May, early May, was it, Doug? Right, the beginning of May. And over the course of time, we got a little more comfortable with what we were doing. And so we were on Spreaker only for a while. And then in November, in October, Beth not sent me a text and said that they wanted to put us on Spreaker. And then, so in November, it was finally up. And so it's Real Food, Real People with Pat and Holly. And sometimes we just talk between the two of us, and sometimes we have guests. How many episodes have we done? 36, 36 episodes. And Doug is my producer.
And y'all are usually on Spoonie when? What's the...
Okay. And now, Sean.
Yes, ma'am.
I was actually going to call in with leave a voicemail, but I didn't get it together in time.
These are funny.
Because when it was mentioned a couple of weeks ago, and Melissa was like, I don't want to say what time it is because it's opposite your show, and it isn't.
I was like, what is she talking about? No, it's what?
Right. I know you were trying.
Oh, it is on Sunday?
It's it actually runs 7 days a week.
Right.
But we drop the new show on Sunday. So the new show starts at 7, goes from 7 to 8. And I'm trying to tell people to listen to our show on Spoonie from 7 to 8 and then switch over and listen to Off Track. But I don't know whose toes I'm stepping on.
Whatever.
Who on Mojo was on just before your show? I don't remember.
It was Matt Holloway.
Oh, I don't, because
Okay.
I don't mean to.
But it's the repeat from tonight, right?
You know what? This is a good thing about a podcast. Look, if you and this is I'm saying this about myself and our show. If you don't catch my show live,
Yeah, on demand is 24/7. You know,
right, go listen to
I'm
it.
not gonna lie, I listen to it that night usually. If people
Right.
don't call me on Zoom.
Yeah, so we're on Spreaker, on demand on Spreaker, Real Food, Real People, and so there we are.
I've noticed Holly seems to have a thing with peanut butter.
Oh, broccoli, but you kind of got away from.
Yeah, broccoli and sweet potatoes and chicken.
Well, I know every time I listen to it, it's like she's talking about something with peanut butter, whether it be a cake with peanut butter or something. There's always something with peanut butter.
She
Pat,
loves. She
you-
knows Doug loves peanut butter and chocolate, and so
Oh, hey,
she
that's
gives
good
Doug
stuff. Good man, Doug.
Hey, I love
Great
peanut butter.
Pat, do you personally do meal preps or anything like that, or I mean, how do you do usually?
Holly
Oh,
and
was
I-
that him? I just heard snickering.
No, that's okay. Holly and I are so opposite. She
Yeah.
is so organized.
Yeah, that would not be
And
me.
I'm like, Doug might be on his way home, and I'm like, huh, what are we gonna have for dinner?
That's me.
So I mean,
That's me. Yep.
we're really on
What's
top
for
of things.
dinner tonight? Okay, I'll throw some macaroni on.
Yeah, if we're really on top of things, we think about dinner before he leaves for work, so we can get it out of the freezer, kind of thing. But I might change my mind during the course of the day.
Right.
I'm very spur of the moment, and
You never know where those cravings might come from, you know?
I know.
I don't want to know where those cravings come from.
I know. I mean, it's like I'll have a craving throughout the day. Like yesterday, I just had a craving for Chinese food, and it was funny because when I hollered in to ask Dylan what kind of Chinese food he wanted, he said, "I was just thinking about that."
Now I am, by the way. Now. Yes, to be to chicken, to egg. Send that over. Yes, Uber Eats. Thank you.
Chicken. What, what does that say on? Oh gosh, my brain just went blank. On South Park, that Chinese restaurant.
I don't remember what that is.
It's shitty chicken, isn't it?
I looked at my roommate when I was talking about getting ready to order it, and I meowed, and she just got the weirdest look on her face. You know, they say it's really cat.
Oh,
You want to hear a funny story? So you're referring to the cat. Okay, so back when I used to work in the food industry, the food service industry.
I didn't know cook.
No, not me.
Oh, okay.
No, back when I delivered, and actually I'm interviewing for a outside sales job in the same company again. Actually, so
Okay.
back in the food industry, food service industry. So I was delivering to one of my customers late in the day, getting ready to finish up. I had one stop left, and his name is Terry. Runs a Irish pub, and I'm getting ready to walk out the door, and I say, "Hey, have a good afternoon, Terry." He goes, "Yeah, you too." He says, "You got much more left?" I said, "No, just one more delivery right over here at the mall, the Chinese restaurant food court." And he goes, "Gonna deliver some cat, huh?" And I go, "Yep, same cat I delivered you." And he fell out of his chair. He's like, "Wait, what? Huh? What?"
Exactly. We got a few more minutes left, Sean. Why don't you tell everybody about Off Track? I know y'all got your 1 year show coming up.
Oh my goodness.
Monday.
Yeah, tomorrow live 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 Central on Mojo 50, which you can't really see that. Anyway, everyone knows. Come on. We are live. It is our 1 year anniversary show. I will just say this. For those who are big fans of Mojo, you don't want to miss it because we have some special guests. And we're going to be taking the calls live. Calls. Y'all can call in, talk to us, chit chat, give our host crap, throw them on the bus.
That's the fun part.
Even that one guy. We're going to let that one guy call in. And that chick. His chick. Whatever. So, yeah, come hang out with us tomorrow night.
Congratulations.
And thank you.
And let's see, we're February, March, April, May. So in about 3 more months, we'll be having a 1 year anniversary for
Real Food, Real People. What's up?
Real Food, Real People.
Yeah, I'm
It
really
goes fast.
surprised at how long it really did fly.
Mm-hmm.
But did you really start like right after Doc Pat?
So yeah, oh
That was
gosh.
the week after, wasn't it?
On the 30th of January, he announced that Off Track was coming in. He passed away on the 5th. Our show went on Mojo the next Sunday. 5 days later, at the end of that week.
I don't remember this. I know I watched it.
It was tough. Our guest was Saddle Tramp, Kevin Saddle Tramp.
I do remember that.
Wow, it was tough.
It was just audio at first, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
We didn't do video for quite a long time, and
Right.
yeah, it's been a long year.
I know, I was on one of the first episodes.
Yeah. You've been in a number of them, Jamie.
I think I might have been on that one.
What's that?
Well, no, I think I was on the first one too for a few minutes. You asked me about my blog.
I don't remember.
I think it was like towards the end.
It was a long time
I'm
ago.
just being honest. I do not recall. It's been a year.
I know I've been on it about 3 or 4 times, but I could have swore it was the first episode, and I was at the towards the end of it. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We're looking forward to it.
Back when I used to actually blog all the time. I really need to get back into it, but.
Well, see, now you have this. You've what I would call, not upgraded, but you've made an addition to your.
Yeah, I'd like to.
Was it vlogging?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Vlogging.
I don't want to do a vlog though. I want to write about some things and then do this. I think this is fun. Especially with crazy people like y'all.
I just wanted to circle back around a little bit, like when we had the idea for Real Food, Real People. I had the idea for Real Food, Real People. And then we had a chance to meet Patrick at Doc's funeral. At Doc's funeral. So, and when we left the church, there was a little bit of a walk from the church to where the reception area was. And somehow, well, we met Patrick in the vestibule of the church. And then we ended up walking the whole way from, going out through the parking lot into the, into the area where the reception was. And he just kind of poured out his heart about
Aww.
the whole accident thing. I mean, he was just kind of, it was, just like he wanted to get it out kind of
Let
thing
it
while
go.
we were walking along. And, it was really that little walk with Patrick it almost felt therapeutic to all of us. We were getting information, but he was able to, dump some of it,
Right.
Yeah.
With people who understood Doc. I mean, none of us were as close as what Patrick was, of course, but
Right.
Yeah.
we understood. We listened to Doc every day.
Yeah.
We had
And it's an odd relationship because,
Mhm.
and I think anybody that's in radio experiences or TV or whatever, you come into people's homes, into their bedrooms, their kitchens, their bathrooms, every single day. You're part of their life for X number of hours,
Right.
and the hosts that understand that level of intimacy
Oh, yeah.
are far ahead of the game. The ones that are surprised that people feel so intensely connected to them, they're just not even paying attention if they don't understand.
Okay, well, that brings a question because so the three of us have shows here.
Mhm.
Do you think that there's people out there who have that intensive connection?
Not with us. I don't know.
No, I don't feel it. Look, I have some followers. I've had to accept that, I mean, I don't think they're fanatics, which, gosh, I hope not, because I don't like being a fanatic on anything.
Mhm.
It makes me feel, look, it's very flattering and it's humbling to me, but
Right.
if a fanatic about me, no, maybe about the show. Yes, I understand that, but not me personally. I don't know. That's all.
No, you never know.
Depends on who.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
No.
I know there's at least two people I know that always listen, always, and look forward to it. Oh, maybe three. But I know we have more listeners than that.
Sure.
But I know we are on at least three people's weekly schedule to listen immediately.
It makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, and there's probably a lot of people that don't let us know that. So that's good to know. In fact, I had to let my best friend in Texas, I had to let her know that instead of first thing Friday morning, she would organize her weekly sewing project to when our show dropped.
Well, that's nice.
So, but I go, you know what? You're gonna either gonna get the old show, or you're gonna have to change your sewing schedule because the show drops on Sunday now.
Yeah. I don't, I mean, there's a couple of shows that I try, like, I like to watch Mike's, Rock Fridays live. Everything else I can catch on podcast, unless by chance work slows down and I can actually stop and take a break. Same thing with Jen. I try to take a break around that time and catch part of her show at least. Mojo, Morning Mojo is hard for me Monday through Friday, but I try to catch it live Fridays. The rest of it, I pretty much hit the podcast, and I do that at night when I'm laying in bed trying to get to my downtime where I can finally get sleepy enough to go to sleep, and I'll listen to the podcast and do some puzzles or Yahtzee or something while I'm doing that. But,
Wait, what? Puzzles or Yahtzee?
Yeah, I like to play Yahtzee.
By yourself?
So I wanted y'all to see my new shirt.
This is an insight to Jamie.
See my new shirt.
Bless your heart. Oh, wait, now hold on. How come it doesn't say "Ain't You a Peach"?
Well, I actually bought this from it's a Southern Life or a Southern Thing. It's a Southern Thing, which is a Facebook group, and it was on sale, and I said, "Oh yeah, I gotta have that." Eventually, someday, maybe I'll get me some "Ain't You a Peach" shirts made.
What is it?
Just a T-shirt.
Oh.
The T-shirt that I have on now says, "Bless your heart." You know that. You know what that means in Southern language, right?
In Southern, yes, but
Yeah.
I'm in a habit of saying that. But as a Northerner, it's generally not doesn't mean the same thing. Like
Right,
it really means
exactly.
your heart.
And
Right.
for
Which is
those
the
of
"Ain't
us-
You a Peach," "Ain't You a Peach," and "Bless Your Heart" kind of runs.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Ain't you a peach? I can't.
Yeah, "Ain't You a Peach." It's
I
kind
would
of
say-
a sarcastic slap in the face.
I would say that "bless your heart" is kind of like, "I'm sorry you're so ignorant," which
Yeah, it is.
which means you kind of have an excuse. But "ain't you a peach" is kind of like, you know what? Screw off, ass.
You're a real piece
Exactly.
of work.
Yeah, you're a real piece of work. Get bent.
I get it now. See, every day's an education. When you stop learning things, you're dead. So there we go.
Hey, I love Southern slang.
What
I remember, oh God, Jeff Foxworthy did a show, and I have tried to find it. It was on the History Channel, but it was all about Southern slang. And that was he went around and he talked to people in like the Southern, states like South Carolina, North Carolina, Georgia, all that. And it was really good. Well, the show is over, and we will see everybody next week, Saturday at 8. Thank you, Kitty. Thank you, Sean.
Bye. Thank you.
All right, man, folks.